cannot give you a recipe for it. But I took that 5 minutes to explain that to you. And good morning. Let us start the morning lesson. So today, we're talking about the pillar of emotional prosperity. And I need to explain what emotional prosperity is from the 5 pillars point of view, and mental prosperity. They're separate. Many people confuse emotional prosperity with mental prosperity and vice versa. The definition of emotional prosperity from the point of view of the 5 pillars are: we react to whatever we hear, smell, taste, touch, and see. So, our emotions are triggered by our 5 senses. Remember that. Our emotions are triggered by our 5 senses. So, remember that. Now, mental prosperity is the ability to recall what you know and use it at the appropriate time correctly. So it's to always be able to remember what you studied and apply it at work, what you are taught and to apply it. And that it should keep going like this as you age. Maybe at a certain time you start losing that part of your mental clarity because of age and a little bit of whatever is happening to the brain. I don't know that. But what I do know is that mental prosperity is being able to recall what you have learned and studied and use it at the appropriate time correctly. So now that you have this information, let us look, because this week we had all kinds of topics. And this week it's emotional intelligence today. How we handle disappointments and how we connect to others. 5 senses at work here. How we react to what we see. Identify the person who has supported you, your resilience and your soul. I talked about calling Lisa and send them a 30-second video. The person who you observe, that's always there. You're connecting with them emotionally. Sometimes we just take them for granted because they're always there. They're like those old slippers that we keep wearing in the house. And eventually, when the slipper trips and it wears, and we trip on it and we realize we need to give this thing away, and we say, we miss that. I miss that comfortable thing. So do not wait for one of your friends not to be able to recognize you. And that can happen because that person is young also. So those of you on TikTok who was going to say, I have time. We only have this time. This is why today is the best day of your life. Whether you like it or not. That's what it is. There is no best days that have been past or best days to come. So sometimes the friend that you just push that with that frustration and you lean on me. When you know the song Lean on Me? That's fine. But have you open up and touch them emotionally? Open your heartstrings. Let your heart open and let the heartstrings pull out to emotionally connect and say thank you for being there on the days when I don't know where to go. Thank you for supporting me, especially when I've made a big mistake. Thank you for telling me it's okay and that too shall pass. 30 seconds, a little video. Everybody has a cell phone. You could be walking You could be just in the moment you think of that person. You snap up that video and that phone and you go, hello, how are you doing today? I'm going to call her name. My friend Lisa, who is here, she said she doesn't, want Christmas present. Like we shouldn't. And I didn't know what to give her. But when we are together, we do some silly, adventurous things. Like for example, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, we sat with Santa. And we sent the picture to our kids. What happened was the two of us and Santa in the middle. We weren't dressed for it. We were just passing through to the mall and we saw it. And we have a picture with Santa. So there we did. We had this picture with Santa and we gave it to the kids. I saw the emotion in their face. I saw the joy in their face. They thought, they already know we're crazy when we're together. So they kind of, it was nice. But I saw that. This Christmas, it was out again. So we connected. I didn't know what to do. But I had some pictures of Lisa and I going to a restaurant called Bahamas something in a cold city. And we sent a note to our children that we found a cheap flight and we're in the Bahamas. And I can't even remember what they told us. But anyway, so I didn't know what to do, give her, and I didn't want to upset her. Although I still have to get at her. I have thought about it and I'm going to really get her. So emotionally, I prepared a book with pictures and I wrote a story about how giving, loving, caring, standing, supportive, listening for others. And when I am with her, how much she makes sure I get to do the things that I desire to do. And so much so, I had her try on her own Christmas gift. And she thought it was for a friend. So I couldn't give her, but I don't know, I haven't heard from her what she thought when she saw the book. It wasn't really anything, but I wanted her to have something and to hear what I observe and see with her behavior. So I am extreme. So I go extreme. You don't have to be like me, but you must send a note and acknowledge the people that are supportive, the people that allow you in their life, the people that let you use their five senses to feel better. So remember, emotional prosperity reacts to our five senses. What we hear, what we see, what we smell, what we taste, and what we touch. But we must tell the people that allow us in our life to do that. And that is emotional intelligence. To be grateful. Identify one person who has supported your resilience to keep doing what you want. And send them a 30-second thank you note on your device or a note. And say, you know what, I'm sitting right here and I just realized my hand was there to touch the phone to call you. So, because I'll tell you something, I say it as a joke now. I always called my mom and dad at 11 a.m. In 2002, when I came back, around this time of the year, my mom had passed away and I was at work. And I can still remember how I did it. I used my right hand like this to grab the phone to call my mom. And then I realized, no, she's not here. She's not there. But I did it. I always call them every morning. So personally, now that my parents are both dead, I have no unfinished business with them. And for that reason, there is a tradition in our family. We do not hang up the phone without saying, I love you. It is the most uncomfortable word to use in the English language when it's not for a sexual, romantic thing. To just hang up and say, Colin, okay, bye, love you. It's hard to do. But if you get into the habit of sending these messages out, that might have been the last thing they heard from you. My husband's brother, Don, he died a couple of years ago, and he always said to me, "Do you know what I have on my phone?" I said, "No." He said, "I have Brian's voice wishing me happy birthday and telling me he loved me." He said, "Whenever I get stuck, I play my big brother's voice." And Brian had a radio voice. Just so I know at that time he told me he loved me. So that's why it is a challenge for us to be emotionally connected to others. It is. But we need to learn to do this. It's important. When you feel, when a negative emotion hits you today, stop for a moment and ask yourself, why am I letting this emotional situation knock me down? Why? I can't control it. And again, it's the thought, right? But when we move that negative thought and we bring it down this way, and it comes out at the tip of our tongue, and it goes out into the ethers, it goes out into the universe, we cannot retract it. It doesn't belong to anybody else but us. Doesn't matter if you said it about another human being. Even if they heard it, it still doesn't belong to them. Even if you say it to them in anger, it still doesn't belong to them. You are the planner. You planned it. You executed it. You chose the words to put together. And how do you expect it to affect another human being? It's only going to affect you. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. And maybe not you. But if you have siblings behind you, if you have children behind you, if you have grandchildren behind you, that becomes part of your legacy. Great writers like Shakespeare has taught us that. The evil that men do live after them. That's your legacy. And then somebody might repeat the same phrase or words that you concocted for another person, not even knowing that you gave it to a person before. They didn't know that. And sometimes you still have an opportunity to stop doing it if somebody else calls you up by their bootstraps. When somebody uses their emotion in my presence to talk about someone else, and it's negative, I stop them. I don't want to be part of this. I said, no. You do not know what their journey has been that caused them to be who they are. We don't know. And that's why we have words like, but for the grace of God go I. If you stand alone and you do not have glass windows, then throw the stones. But if you have glass windows behind you, be careful where you throw those negative words and actions and thoughts and behavior towards others. He who is without sin, throw the first stone. Emotional is devastating, that thing. And yet, it can be so amazing. Emotional prosperity is one of our strongest and most effective way to success. You want to manifest your dream goals and desires? Then use your emotions. And when you say to me, Tessa-Marie, why is it I get all these horrible things happening to me? I often ask, What emotional intelligence are you using towards others? Which one are you using towards others? Because you see, boomerang hits you back. Might not you again. Mightn't be you. It might be something else. In some cases, it is you. And you cannot manifest your dream goals and desires. Because, you see, you're manifesting what you do not like. By, I want good for me, but I want bad for this one. I want good for my entire family, but I wish that family would have all their kids would, no. Leave it alone. It's none of your business. You're straddling the lane. Stay in your lane. Your lane is your life. Your legacy is your children and the children's children for generations to come. We all heard of generational curses. We don't understand it, but we hear of it, right? What about generational blessings? What about that? You see, emotions can do both. It can kill and it can cure. It can push down and it can rise up. The same intensity we use when we are angry. Imagine we use that exact same intensity when we are joyful. When we say, I love you, I appreciate you. When you hug. A kiss without a hug is like a room without a rug. You know what that's like? A kiss without a hug is like a room without a hug. When you hug. It's not a minute, just hug. It's not going to, they're not going to take anything from you. Emotion is to spread the good part of emotional prosperity out to the world. Because we are very aware that it comes back. What you do comes back to you. It's your work. So, naming your emotions is the first step of mastering them. Reach out to that one person that fills your cup daily. Connection is the ultimate human connection. Connection with other humans is currency in resilience. You have it. We have one pillar left, which is financial. We rest on that. But emotionally, I use words like, Tessa, I deserve this. I really should have it. That's an emotion. Tessa, I have this. I love this. You know what? It brings joy to me. You do not have to be angry when you're talking about something you love or someone you love. I ask God every day that no matter where I am, it's the best place for me to be today. Wherever I am comfortable there because this is where I am. My comfortableness might not mean I'm jumping up and down. I might be sitting and reading, creating, writing, daydreaming, musing, praising, gratitude, feeling that I really love how I feel when I do this. And when I walk the streets or I go to the stores, I always observe people and I look for something I love about them or something that shines about them. It takes a lot of either purposeful mental clarity or no mental clarity at all, to sit outside on a grate in a cold street of the North American continent, like Toronto, New York, and all of these other cities in the world that are cold, and just sit there. That takes resilience. So when we look at that person's resilience, we should look at it and say, wow, and I cannot sit and meditate, and this person can sit in the cold. Instead of saying that they're homeless, they're mental, they're on drugs, we know that already. That we know, and we cannot change it. But what is the one thing that that person has, emotionally doing, physically sitting, feeling cold, and all what goes with it? Resilience. So instead of looking down on them, look up and say, can I have a little bit of their resilience so I can do the things that I desire to do so that I can live a fulfilled life? Admire that. That is the audacity they have to sit there. Even if you believe that if you give them $1, they're going to use it on drugs and alcohol. Again, that's your belief, right? But they're able to sit in that spot. When last you took your glass, the cup is too far away, and you took a seat in your own house, and you sat still for 5 minutes and didn't move a limb? When last? Can you do that without fidgeting? And there you have. And you have the audacity to criticize someone who can. There is a Qigong motion that heals the body. And it is your hand like this, pretending there's a big ball there, and do not move. And keep the ball close to you, your hands like this, and just do that. Do it for 5 minutes. Do it for a minute. Resilience. So we can criticize other people's emotions, but we have to work on our own. And that is one of the reasons why I look at emotional prosperity and I realize it can make or break our life. So tomorrow, it's financial prosperity, right? But how we blame everything that's not working in our life on our finances really baffles me. Whereas the one that really rocks the boat is the one we can control, our emotions. When I was at the bank, I would always play the Kenny Rogers song before a staff meeting, The Gambler. And that is what it is, all about emotions. You have to know when to stand up, when to sit down, when to count your money, when to do this. I didn't, it's just life though. A lot of these great songwriters left us with things. Emotionally, Tina Turner told us we are the best. You are the best. But emotionally, somebody can tell us we are worthless. We do not have what it takes. And we allow that word from the outside to ruin us. So I am here today to tell you what other people's opinions about you, it does not affect your everyday life unless you let it in. It's their opinions. And all of you have heard me talk about the 4 agreements. When you speak about yourself or others, use impeccable and exquisite words. Do not form opinions about other people you do not know. Assumptions because this man is on the grate, it's because he's on drugs or alcohol. So these are just these three. Do not get into them. When people are casting their opinions, they're gossiping. And I am the worst person to ask about somebody else's business. I don't know. That's my answer. But the one thing I know, the only one of the 4 agreements each and every one of us has that we can control is to do your best. Nothing but do your best. That is the one you must do. There are 3 you shouldn't do. Do not gossip opinion. Make no assumptions. You don't know. Ask questions. There might be a story from that person on the grade. Sit with them one day and ask them to tell you about their life. And of course, watch your words. When you say something nasty about me, it has nothing to do with me. It's all about you. So today, I am happy and grateful. I had the honor and the privilege to have a chat with you about emotional intelligence, emotional prosperity. Because we blame finance for what happens in that one. Emotionally, we discharge our tongue at the supervisor and they fire you. What does it affect? No paycheck in 2 weeks. No food in the fridge. No bills can be paid. Spiritually, you're blaming God. God should have watched me. God should have told me. God should have. But you weren't listening because you cannot rest for 5 minutes. And then, mentally, you're losing it. Making choices, financial choices that are not balanced for you, not the right ones for you. Eating garbage because you're sitting on the couch and it's winter, you're not going to go, you're just physically. So that one emotional mistake, if you do not work on it and get it balanced, the other 4 pillars are going to suffer. So in life, we should always find out which one of our 5 pillars is the cause. And that's the one we work on. We fix the cause. The symptom is a trigger.